So, if you've been reading the financial press lately, I mean, you'd honestly probably think the UK housing market was just entirely boarded up.
Yeah, absolutely. The headlines are pretty much relentless right now. It's all about, falling transaction volumes and home builders really struggling to make projects financially viable.
Exactly. But for today's deep dive, we're actually unpacking a stack of recent market analyses that point to something completely counterintuitive, like a massive incoming wave of optimism.
Right, because the underlying data actually tells a very different story than all that prevailing doom and gloom you're seeing.
Wait, really? Because it feels, pretty overwhelmingly gloomy.
I know. But we're looking at three specific catalysts converging right now. And it's basically having analysts turn incredibly bullish on home builders, especially when you look at the London property market.
Okay, well, let's get right into that first catalyst then, because I think it's the immediate barrier that will choke the market in the first place, right?
Yeah.
Borrowing costs.
Right, yeah. The rapid rise in interest rates over the last 2 years just totally obliterated demand. I mean, buyers were priced out almost overnight.
Oh, completely.
Yeah.
But the macro picture is kind of shifting now, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Inflation is falling. And lenders, interestingly, are not waiting for the central bank to act. They're actually preemptively cutting mortgage rates right now.
Wait, just to capture market share.
Exactly. And the mathematical leverage of these cuts is really what you need to pay attention to here. The sources show that even a fractional drop in mortgage rates, say moving from 5.5% down to 4.5%, that translates to roughly a 10 to 15% increase in buyer affordability.
Wow. I mean, a 15% jump in purchasing power. That fundamentally changes the calculus for anyone trying to navigate the London market right now.
Oh, 100% is huge.
Kind of like a massive traffic jam.
Yeah.
Opening up just one express lane like that 1% rate drop, it doesn't magically clear the entire highway, but it gets the front of the line moving immediately.
That's a great way to look at it. You have this huge pool of sideline buyers who just need the math to work, and, well, suddenly it does.
But getting those buyers back in the door with cheaper mortgages, I mean, that really only solves half the equation. You still need something for them to actually buy.
Right, which crashes us right into London's absolute oldest
A
problem.
structural housing shortage. It's pretty famous at this point.
It really is. For decades, the UK simply has not built enough homes to keep pace with population growth or, household formation.
Even when high rates temporarily suppress transactions, right?
Yeah, exactly. Because that underlying physical need for shelter never actually goes away. It just sort of compounds in the background while nobody is really looking.
Well, I'm stuck on this, though, because if long-term demand in a high-density, economically hyperactive place like London is basically a mathematical certainty, why aren't developers just building nonstop?
It's a fair question, because you definitely think they would be.
Right. I mean, seeing paused construction sites all over the city just doesn't make any sense to me if the buyers are a sure thing.
So that paradox is exactly what's held the market back. And it's not a lack of capital or demand, actually. It's the UK's notoriously complex planning system.
The red tape.
Exactly. We're talking about severe local council bureaucracy, outdated zoning restrictions, and really intense community pushback.
So a developer might have the funds and the buyers waiting, but they just get strangled by what years of administrative red tape?
Yeah, just trying to get a shovel in the ground. The system actively drains the financial viability out of a project before it even starts.
So the roadblocks aren't financial at all. They are entirely administrative.
Right. But if analysts are suddenly optimistic, something in that bureaucratic gridlock must be giving way. And that brings us to our third catalyst.
Imminent policy shifts, I'm guessing.
You got it. Planning reform and aggressive infrastructure incentives are now moving to the very center of the political debate.
I mean, regardless of where you fall on the political spectrum, we're just seeing this growing realization that this bottleneck has to be broken, right? If the country's actually going to function.
Precisely. And if this policy bottleneck actually clears while mortgage rates drop at the same time, that changes the math for London developers literally overnight.
They'd be crazy not to restart those pause projects.
Oh, they will restart them. As that red tape gets cut, construction activity will definitely rise.
And as those buyers from our traffic jam start absorbing the new inventory, you're going to see prices stabilize much sooner than the broader market expects.
Exactly. Though the sources are really clear that even if developers start pouring concrete tomorrow, we are still looking at years of undersupply.
Right, which just keeps supporting that long-term housing demand in the city anyway. But it does show how market pessimism usually peaks right before a major cyclical pivot.
Yeah, and we are likely sitting right on the edge of that exact transition point today.
Well, that definitely changes how you look at those paused construction sites across the city. But it does leave us with one final provocative thought from the sources for you to mull over.
Yeah, about the land itself.
Exactly. If these factors finally align to spur a building boom, if rates drop and the planning system actually eases, what happens to the raw earth? Like, will London land prices need to undergo a massive market reset before large-scale house building can truly return to the capital? Something for you to keep an eye on.